G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video. So this is one from quite a while ago actually. I've taken quite a bit of time. I sort of forgot about this combination for a little while, but we come back to it. So we managed to get this video together finally. It is Group 4 around Willow Springs International Raceway, the Big Willow variation. So of course, Willow Springs International Raceway, it's in the USA, the US of A. It's in the middle of the desert basically, but it's a racing complex with 3 tracks in it. Of course, Big Willow, and then you've got Streets of Willow and Horse Thief Mile are the 3 tracks in this sort of racing complex. But we're on the Big Willow. This is the main sort of racetrack version. The other 2 are sort of purpose built for weird things. I don't know, we'll talk about that if they come up in a combination ever. But here we go. We're in Group 4. So I've gone for the Toyota 86, which was the car of choice for this particular race. Leaderboards were dominated by it, and I've put a Donut King livery on it. So hopefully we can be propelled to victory by the power of donuts and sprinkles and icing. Hopefully we can put the icing on the cake, or the icing on the donut, by getting a victory at some point. So Willow Springs, it's an interesting track. It's in the middle of the desert. It was built in like 1952, and it really hasn't seen pretty much any change at all ever since it was first built. So of course, racetracks normally are built in a way and then altered based on events that happen. So normally on like purpose-built racetracks, if there's a fast straight leading into a sharp corner, accidents are going to happen, and unfortunately people do die from accidents, and that's normally when we see chicanes put in to try and slow cars up before reaching a corner. But because there's so much runoff, basically if a car goes off the track, you're just going to run into sand, so there's not really any opportunity for accidents and death and such. So that's why the tracks remain basically the same. But this was the first race we had. We set quite a good qualifying time, I'm not going to lie. We'll go through a lap later, but we'll just follow this fight now. So I've got T ahead, and then we've got X. T and X, 2 letters of the alphabet ahead of us. So these are the 2 cars that we're going to be having a fight with in this race. So let's follow on with the action. So let's go through turn 3. So this is the first part of the Omega complex, this little uphill right-hander, and then the bottom turn 5. So this is turn 4 around here, and then at the bottom the left-hander is turn 5, called downhill, the last part of the Omega. But we're basically, all we're doing is following these 2 cars around, and hopefully we can try and craft an overtake. There's a couple of overtaking opportunities. You can go, well really, you can turn 1, you can kind of make one work if a car goes wide and you're close enough, but the real sort of break and overtake opportunity is turn 3, going into the uphill Omega section. This is turn 9, you see how late that apex is, it's pretty much right as you go onto the straight, but T up ahead just gets a little bit caught on the dirt, and he's in the slipstream of X, and I pull out to the inside. T pulls out in front of me, just runs deep. I've just got up the inside of X, he's not able to turn in, and there was no contact, but because we'll analyse this incident a bit later, I was up the inside of X, and I noticed that he was turning, but then stopped turning when he noticed I was on the inside, so I thought, you know what, I'll run it wide and see if he can go off the track, and that's exactly what he did. He should have backed out, and that's a valid tactic. I'm allowed to do that. There was no contact, so as far as sort of stewards looking at that incident, they'll think there was no contact, I did nothing wrong, and that's the case, I did nothing wrong. In fact, I probably did the right thing, because it got me a victory. Look at that! Number 1 R4M Smokescreen. So, I'm happy with that. I didn't quite catch my ratings at the start, but we'll have a look at the next one. But yeah, there we go. See, I got the wreath around my neck, celebrating my victory. It's actually my 10th win. I'll always take it in the Donut King Toyota 86. So the 86, 358 horsepower, available upon release, and you can buy it for 350,000 credits. Buy the Toyota 86, it's a good car. But here's that incident here. Starts out on the final corner. So T just gets a little bit out of shape and just touches the gravel on the outside. Very easy to do, I'll do that a few times, you'll probably see. So, and then he goes into the slipstream of X to try and counteract that loss of speed. I'm in his slipstream from a better run, so I pull out, I'm gaining, but then I stop because T is in this slipstream of X. So there, he's gaining on X, and he pulls to the inside to try and go for the overtake, but he brakes too late. He just goes deep, that's T, and then X right there stopped turning in because he saw that I was there, and that's when I decided I'll just run it a little bit wider than I would like because I noticed that X had stopped turning to avoid contact, so I knew he was going to try and keep avoiding contact, and the rest is history. He ended up off the track. They both ended up off the track. So T just went deep on his own by not taking the being in the slipstream into account. He probably was a bit distracted, probably not looking at his braking marker because he was in that slipstream, gaining so quickly on X. But yeah, we managed to get a victory this time. So this is the race immediately after. So victories really boost your ratings, and what happens when you boost ratings is you go into high level lobbies. When you're in high level lobbies, you have quicker players because they're better at the game. That's why they're in these high lobbies, and then your qualifying time suddenly isn't as great, and that's why we find ourselves down in 11th on the grid. But nevertheless, let's see how far up the grid we can get. Basically, all I'm looking for is to always just raise my position. But on the exit of turn 1, actually, this Honda just goes very deep and just cuts across right in front of me. But let's see if we can pounce up the inside. We can, because you've got to position your car absolutely perfect through turn 2. And look how early you can get on the power, and the car just sticks to that inside. Oh, it feels so good. Braking, we're just before the 50, but we just skip ahead there. Nothing much interesting happened. McGann is recovering, the McGann trophy up ahead, recovering from a little excursion off the outside of turn 9. But it's not going to be enough for an overtake into turn 1, braking just on the 100-metre board into turn 1, sets us in there, lovely. So through this opening part of the lap, you can just see we've actually caught up this gap to the McGann here. He's just running very wide through turn 2. You want to keep your car sort of in the middle of the circuit, feather the throttle, and then you can get on the power and the car will sort of complete the turn, meet the apex, and then move to the outside pretty much all on its own if you get it absolutely dead nailed and correct. Heading up through the Omega, turn 4. See how close we are to this. McGann here almost runs off the track there. That was so close. He's very lucky there. Of course, because you're going downhill and accelerating, if you put a rear wheel onto that gravel going in that section, you're going to fly off to the right-hand side. So he's very lucky to avoid that, actually. But we're going to go through turn 7, wings leg now, and to turn 8, the sweeper, or turn 8 and 9 collectively known as the sweeper, the final 2 corners there. That was turn 8, and you see it just shallows out a little bit, and then you trail it into turn 9. McGann up ahead just gets sucked off on that dirt. That is so easy to do because of the nature of the corner. You've got to stay as wide as possible, trail brake, you've got to trust that the car will stick, and if you're carrying even 1 or 2 more Ks or miles, I guess, yeah, if you're going even 1 or 2 kilometers too fast, you will end up off the outside of that track, and that's exactly what's happened to my McGann-clad friend that was in 9th, but now I hail in that position, going through Rabbit's Ear, turn 2. Very interesting track this. We'll go through a lap a bit later, but let's see if we can catch up this gap to this Lamborghini Huracan now, as we go up through turn 3. So that was turn 3, that's the good overtaking opportunity there, but it's alright, we'll continue on. Just take a little bit too much dirt through turn 4, and that just inhibits my run, but the Lamborghini up ahead did the same thing, so it inhibits his run too. So overall, we both lost time to this pack that has 7th and 6th in it. Pretty much a train from 1st to 7th, a bit of a gap, and then this Lamborghini and me. But let's see, we go in quite narrow through turn 8, but that's okay. You want to keep it narrow through turn 8, but you want to keep it wide for turn 9. Just before the 150 metre, trail it in, and we actually apex a little bit early in that particular instance, and we almost touched the gravel on the outside, but we're not quite able to carry as much speed through there. But that's alright, because we're in the slipstream of this Lamborghini, but the Lamborghini actually has quite good top end. I didn't quite realise that. Brake on the 100 metre board. Sets us in turn 1 nicely. I'll get a better line through there. He probably ran a little bit deeper. You just see how much time we gained on him by getting the corner correct compared to how he did it incorrectly. Almost go up the inside there, but we're just a bit too close and just push him wide. We've got to give him room on the exit. You see me feathering that throttle. I have to give him room. He's up the inside, and he's got more momentum from being around the outside. I'll just look around the outside through turn 3. Never going to work. We just see someone get speared off the track there. You didn't quite catch that. That was quite funny. So we managed to catch up another position. I'm now in 8th, and this guy up ahead, what's he, Maydier? Not sure, quite sure what that flag is. Is it Malaysia? I'm actually not sure. Thailand? No idea. We'll forget I mentioned the flags because that's probably quite embarrassing if I got that wrong. But it's alright, still in the slipstream of this Lamborghini. We've been following him for the entire lap, basically. But it's alright, as we've still got a lap to go, and if we're quite close for turn 3, we can lob it up the inside there. That's normally the best place, aside from slipstreaming past on the straight. But the straight, it's not that long, really. In fact, the straight is only about 700 metres long, 750 metres long. So, while you will get slipstream, it can help for an overtake into turn 1, but it's normally not the best place. So, yeah, normally, this track obviously has a lot of long corners, and they're not the best overtaking corners, to be honest, but it's alright, we'll work with what we've got. Turn 3 is the best, as I've said a couple of times already. So we've got to get a good exit off turn 2, 3/10 behind, probably not quite close enough, braking just before the 50. We're getting quite a bit of ground, but it's not enough for an overtake. So that there is, you can easily see how you can get an overtake in that particular portion of the track there. You see how much time we gain, and if we were just closer, all that time gain would have been up the inside of that Lamborghini, but didn't quite work out there. But yeah, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get this victory off this Lamborghini here, but let's just see going into turn 8. Hopefully, well, I don't hope, but it would be helpful if he fell victim to the gravel on the outside. Let's see, braking into the final corner, Lamborghini brakes, keeps it in the middle of the track. It's not quite going to be enough. He does keep it on the track, kisses that apex nicely. I'm out on the gravel actually, and almost spear off to the right hand side, but I do get a better run than him overall. He probably had quite a weird line right on his bumper in the slipstream. Not going to be enough to overtake. We just lose by about a tenth of a second. That's alright, that was a pretty good fight between the two of us, although it wasn't really a fight, it was more me trying to catch. But then in the lobby afterwards, Ranger Ross calls Mayday disgraceful, and we just skip a bit of this. I ask him, I take the bait and ask him what happened. He says pit maneuver, so I respond in literally the only appropriate manner as possible, oof. And then I said I'd check the replay, and this is it. This is what I've seen. So this was the car that speared off. Mayday tries to go up the inside of him in turn 3 and just runs it a little bit wide, just nudges his back rear, and it just gets on the grass, and that just rotates him around. So that's where I saw that car spear off to the left, and that's where we got the position up. But here we go. Let's have another race around here. So on the grid this time, where's my donut livery? It's not on the screen because I'm in 9th. So not going well, to say the least. At least I'm 9th, not 11th, but you see my qualifying time, 1:17.5. I think top times are about 1:15 or something. 1:15.7 or something like that. I don't really remember, to be honest. But we'll see how we go through this race now. We've got another 5 laps of Willow Springs, and we're going to be firmly, well, not really that firm at all, to be honest, actually. But we're going to be in the slipstream of this McGann trophy for the opening stage of the race, and we'll be ready to capitalise on any mistakes that people make up ahead. So you can go wide at turn 2 as well, as the McGann up ahead is demonstrating for me. You see he misses that apex by quite a mile, and you see I'm on the power that whole time basically, and that gets us a nice run up there. Turn 3, brake nicely, use that elevation change to really slow the car up. As you go from flat to uphill, the car pushes into the road. You can really use that to turn. Take a nice narrow line through turn 4, sorry, and that just stops the guy behind KZ96 Graphics from going past through there. Looking up the inside through turn 6, Munro Ridge, but it's not quite going to be enough. I think he's in a Porsche Cayman. Oh no, it might be another Toyota 86. Well, we'll see if he can manage to get past it all. Go defensive. Well, that's your line through turn 8. Turn 8 is absolutely not an overtaking opportunity. Through turn 9 now, trailing in, just goes into the back of me. I probably do scrub off a little bit too much speed, and that just allows Lincoln to make his way past in the Castrol liveried 86. And yes, I can confirm Graphics is in another 86, a black matte 86 there. Let's see, well, a bit hairy going into turn 1. Let's see if we get through here all the same. I think we can. Lincoln just touches the gravel, but it's alright. He doesn't lose too much speed from it, or if any, to be honest. But we all managed to keep our cars on the road without contact through turn 1, which is good racing from the 3 of us there. Of course, going that closely into braking zones is normally never a good never a good idea. Lincoln just goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 3. What was that? I didn't quite catch that. But Graphics just slams it up the inside of both of us through turn 4. Good on him. That's a fair move. I'll give him that double overtake as we're up high and wide, and he's got the good run through turn 4, and he capitalises on that overtake. And we managed to get past Lincoln as well. So we're up into 8th. That's where we started, wasn't it? No, we started 9th. Up into 8th. Let's see if we can set our sights on catching Graphics here. Let's see if we can all get through turn 8 without any troubles. I think we are okay. Lincoln just looks up the inside through turn 9. We have to give him the space. That is so awkward. They're never a good place to go up the inside. It's pretty much you'll all end up off the track. And then we got a Ferrari from Giulietta dealing his way into this mess here. Yellow flags are out. Someone is off on the exit of turn 2. Yes, someone got reset there. Just going to the back of Lincoln there, but he keeps it on the track. That is fine. Again, Trophy coming back. What is it? What's his name? Key 044 Fierce deals him in as well. So we've lost a load of positions. We should be at the front of this little group of 4 that we've got going here. The next guy in 11th is 7 tenths back. Let's see how we go through turn 3. Around the outside of Lincoln. Does he keep it narrow? He does. Does he give me enough room? Almost, no. Almost half the car on that gravel there. And let's see. The 2 up ahead there, door-to-door bashing. But the McGann comes off victorious there, probably by virtue of just slamming this Ferrari into the dirt a little bit. But it's not to worry. We managed to get through there. Okay, we actually get this position up from Lincoln, who's actually dropped back into 11th. There's now a different car in between me and him now, so he's obviously not had a good run through there. We've got another Toyota 86, so he just comes out of the Ghost. Look at that. Not sure if you caught that. Ferrari just slams into the back of that Toyota 86 as he's coming out of a Ghost there. Probably recovering from a spin or something, and he gets sent right back. Where is he? He's right off the leaderboard now. Just got a little bit out of shape in the exit of turn 9 there. Very easy to do. We were on the gravel a little bit. They're 3 wide behind. Look at that. So keep an eye on that mini-map up in the top right corner for any cars spearing off the track. But no, we actually decide to skip ahead and watch me bin it. So we've seen a couple of cars get sucked off at this particular point, and it's only fair that it's now my turn. So that's why it was my turn anyway. I did it on purpose. I thought, you know what, let's show the viewers what not to do. Of course, you can probably do that by watching any one of my videos, but nevertheless. So we skip ahead to the end of the final lap, picked up a second penalty from somewhere. We don't need to look at that. But we do finish it off in 13th. Not great, as you can see, we're up fighting with around, like, with 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, that sort of realm. We could have been, really could have been a 7th or 6th or something like that. But a few mistakes rendered that not possible. But he's there. We bring it home in 13th as my guys looking on in disappointment at Donut King. But here is a lap. So I did qualifying, but we'll go through a lap of Willow Springs now. This is a better qualifying time, that's why I'm showing you this. So we break at the 100 metre board, 4th gear, throw it in, and that gets a nice run through there. Ghost up ahead is actually the top time in the world. So that you can have a look and see how I compare. Rabbit's here, turn 2. 5th gear, then you brake, and then as you set into the corner, a little tap of the brake, 4th gear, you see how early I am on the throttle, about 185 kilometers an hour at the exit apex. We're 4 tenths up. Brake at the 50 metre board, use that elevation to rotate the car in as it bogs down, going through that elevation change, turn 4, keep it high and wide, and bring it down for that apex. A little bit wide through there, probably still some time in it. Well, obviously there's some time in this lap. Turn 5. Just want to get about half the car onto that dirt, keep as much rolling speed up as possible as you go over Munro Ridge. You've actually got to be careful through Munro Ridge, because if you hit it at the wrong angle, you'll end up wide. Turn 7, wings leg, shallow left-hander, and then turn 8 and 9, the sweeper. Now keep it narrow through turn 8, and then when you come out of turn 8, around to the outside, just before the 150 metre board, trail it in. You see lower speed was about 192 k's an hour. Just touch the gravel on the outside, that loses us a little bit of time, but you see how late that apex was as well. We managed to get a good run up the straight, and it's a 1:17.1. I'll take it. It's less than 2 seconds off the top time. So, you know, I'll take a lap like that. And this was the race that immediately preceded it. So what I did this particular week was a session of qualifying, got a 1:17.5 or something, and then did a load of races, and then came back to it later in the week, did some more qualifying, and then another race. That's all I had time for. And this is that race immediately following the execution of a 1:17.1. Puts us in 4th on the grid, so that's better than around 9th. So you see how much time a few tenths, or how many positions a few tenths can put you up on the grid at the start of a race. But let's see if we can actually have a good race here. Hopefully it doesn't spread out and become very boring for you viewers there. But have a look up ahead. Audi TT tries to go up the inside of this Lamborghini through turn 2. It's an ambitious move. It normally doesn't work, but in this case, that is the case. It doesn't work. The Lamborghini just touches the gravel and almost spears the pair of them off the track. Ibex wide through turn 3, comes back, just touches that Lamborghini. He almost goes off the track there. Lamborghini's high and wide, leaves and then just shuts the door. I was about to say leaves the door open, but he actually shuts it. And you can just see that the TT has managed to barge his way past. So quite a bit of a dirty move through there, and I almost get pit manoeuvred by this Lamborghini up ahead. And you can just see how much these pair up ahead, who have now spread right out, look how much the pack is backed up. Oh my goodness, I didn't quite realise it was that bad. There's about 7 or 8, or probably 6 or 7 cars, all within 2 tenths of each other. So that's absolutely crazy. At this stage in the race, well, it's not that crazy, lap 1, but you know, it's not really what you want. A lot of fighting up ahead. Just feather the throttle through the apex so we don't get all 4 wheels on that gravel. Then again behind, got it really wrong, is way off the track, but it's alright. It just extends that gap out a little bit. This is the story in lap 4. Go a little bit wide through turn 4, and that Lamborghini that's been there since the start of the race pounces on that opportunity. I almost barged my way past, but I was going to say I allow him to go back past. But I managed to go, or hit the inside wall, and he does go past. Probably would have given that position back to him anyways. That move was not great going through turn 4 there, but it's not to worry there. So finally we've got a bit of space, about half a second between 4th and me, and then me and the guy behind Lincoln again. Oh, Lincoln, he's back. Didn't realise. Have a look up ahead, or have a look on the leaderboard for any familiar names there. But we get a nice run through turn 9. Look at that. Apex perfectly. Get a nice run onto the straight in the slipstream of the Lamborghini. Let's see if we can get any closer. Not going to be enough for an overtake into turn 1, but let's just lap as well. So if an overtake has got to be done, it's got to be done through turn 3 basically, unless they get the run from Munro Ridge through Wings Leg into the sweeper. Absolutely wrong. So let's see what we can do. Braking at the 50-metre board. No, he brakes right on his mark. Takes a nice line through there, as do I. See how much time I gain up. Looking around the outside of turn 4. Never going to work. He keeps it narrow. Just parks the car on the apex. There's absolutely nothing I can do. But I just slip down the inside as we head down the hill into turn 5. Around the outside of turn 5. Not going to be able to work. No, I just slide a little bit wide. And he manages to keep his position into 4th. That was almost a good move around the outside of turn 5. But you just see it's not quite going to be enough, and you can just see while we've been fighting a little bit, Lincoln is now 2 tenths behind instead of 5. Yellow flags are out, someone's off the track. Let's have a look. Yep, the guy in 3rd is off the track. The Lamborghini just touches the gravel on the outside. I managed to sail around, or up the inside through turn 9. Look at that as we go up the main straight. Look behind, 3, 4, 5 cars, pretty much all within 3 tenths of each other down the main straight, and it's a finish. Look at that. Pretty much a formation finish. That's really cool, and I managed to get a podium position. That's awesome. I'll take that. Where did I start? Where did I start? 4th? I'll take it, you know. Oh, that was a good race there. Of course, yeah, started 4th, you see, position race 1. There we go. That, you know what, that's a victory in my books. I'll take it. That was a good little battle there. Got up 2 positions on the final corner. You pretty much never overtake in the final corner. But see, we did it twice in this particular instance. I'm basically an expert. I'll see you at the next round of FIA Championships. I wish. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video today, so do hit that like button to let me know you enjoyed it, and do click subscribe. You can see amazing videos like this in your subscription box every week. But that is the end of the video today, and that means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.